Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to the second installment of Wine and Jesus, hosted by yours truly. Once again, I am post-yoga, so I apologize. I am pretty sweaty and nasty. But anyways, what's important is what I want to say to you, not all of this, which is not happening right now. So also today, very important part of Wine and Jesus is the wine part. Also, I had to go with Wine and Jesus and not Jesus and Wine because the domain for Jesus and Wine is already taken by this like Midwestern group of middle-aged women who decided they would have like a boozy Bible study. And I think that's awesome, so I'm not even going to try to buy the domain name from them, which I may have done if it wasn't being used, but you should check it out, JesusandWine.com, see what I'm up against, see my competition, and let me know what you think. So, today we are drinking a classic pink wine, as they like to make fun of it in college, but this is actually a dry rosé, and it's from Spain, and I am taking a Spanish class right now, but I'm not going to attempt to butcher the name of it. I'll just kind of show you guys. It's backwards because this is a selfie cam. But you can get this at Whole Foods on sale for $6. And unlike that barefoot white zin that my friends and I went through way too much of during college, sorry Asbury, this stuff is pretty good. It's dry. It's not super sweet. So you can drink it and maintain a little bit of your dignity. Speaking of dry things, today I wanted to talk about the concept of bitterness, or maybe less the concept, but the feeling of bitterness, or the plague of bitterness, the burden of bitterness, the sin of bitterness even. Bitterness is never really something that I thought I struggled with, and it's funny because my name, Molly, actually means bitter. Molly is Irish for Mary, which is English for Mara, which is Jewish, which means bitter. So my name means bitter, and I knew that growing up. And when everyone was like, oh, my name's Sarah, it means princess, I was like, oh, my name's Molly, and it means bitter. Benny, go away. Go lie down. Go play with your toys. You want a sock? Here's a sock. Go get it. Okay, anyway. So bitterness is the thing that happens when feelings go undealt with. More like when feelings that are painful or traumatic or hurtful in some way go undealt with. And I actually did you guys a favor and I looked this up on the source of all wisdom, dictionary.com. And the second definition listed is anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly, resentment, bitterness. So, in my opinion, there are two types of people in the world. And don't take this as fact. In fact, don't take anything that I say on this vlog as fact. This is literally just me after yoga class with a glass of wine, sharing my perspective in the hopes that it will help you. And I'll talk a little bit more about sort of the open platform that I want to have with this vlog in a little bit, and you'll see why. It'll all make sense. But anyways, two kinds of people in this world. The stuffers and the sayers. I need to come up with a better word for sayer because it's not really good. But essentially what it means is this, is that something hurtful happens to you. I'll just make up a ridiculous scenario. This is my dog, Benny, by the way, if you haven't met her. Benny, stop. Sit. You want to say hi to the camera? You guys want to say hi? Say hi. Those are my dogs. They can't stand it when I'm not paying attention to them. Go lie down. You're being annoying, for real. I'm never going to have children, I swear. Benny, go lie down. Go lie down. Okay, sorry. But say something happens to you, right? I was going to give you an analogy. Say something happens to you at work. You're in the hallway and your coworker says something to you like, I don't even know. All of my coworkers are really nice, so it's really hard to imagine them being mean to me. But maybe they say something to you like, oh, yeah, I think that a bunch of us, I don't know, this is bad. This is going nowhere. I need to think of another analogy. Okay, I'll just use this actual real situation that just happened in my life. So I was at church yesterday on Sunday night, and one of the speakers, not one of the pastors, but someone who was helping serve the communion, said something up on stage when he was there that I felt was offensive and not theologically correct, and the way he said it offended me, and it hurt my heart because I felt like what this person said was misrepresenting the heart of Jesus. And so I was like upset about it. I was like, what if there's people here who don't have the same perspective that, I do, having been through kind of a lot with the church and my faith and all of this, and they're hearing this and they just think that this is true, and it's not true, like, this is bad. And so in that moment, I kind of had two choices. Like, one, I could stuff it, right, which is to kind of pretend that it didn't happen, ignore my feelings, go on with my life because I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. What am I going to do? Like, go up to this guy after the service and, like, confront him and be like, hey, I don't agree with what you said. I think you should have said it differently. That would be stuffing, is to just kind of ignore all that and be like, you know what, it's whatever, it's fine. I'm just going to go on about my life. And that's what Molly, like, 3 years ago, absolutely would have done. The second thing, which I'm calling the Sayer, if you guys have a better name for it, come at me with it because it needs a better definition or nomenclature, is to confront whatever it is that's bothering you in the moment or shortly thereafter, maybe within like 24 or 48 hours a week maximum, and say what's bothering you, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge, hey, wow, I'm feeling hurt by this. I swear to God, one more time. You can live without attention for 10 minutes, please. Go, Benny, go. Shoo, go lie down. And confront that person and talk to them about it and let them know that it's not okay and that it hurt you. And whatever the response is going to be their response, but the point is that you acknowledge what you were feeling and you had the balls to deal with it. So that's actually what I ended up doing in this situation, because I've kind of realized over the course of my life that I'm a big-time stuffer, and that's really dangerous for me. And the reason is because when you stuff, that's when you start to allow bitterness into your heart. So there's a lot of questions that kind of go along with this topic, right? Obviously, if every little thing that offends you, you stop and you say something and you confront that person about it, then like you're going to just be confronting people all day, every day, and people are going to be confronting you all day, every day, because look, we live in a broken world, people are sinful, they do really shitty things, they say really shitty things, they hurt you, it happens. And so there's, a modicum of common sense and wisdom that goes along with this. But if you never respond, if you never confront, if you're always someone who would rather internalize and deal with whatever emotion you're experiencing or whatever hurt you've experienced rather than bring it out into the open, you could be setting yourself up for bitterness. So this also happened to me recently in my life where with one of my family members, they had done something in the past that really bothered me. But at the time, I didn't recognize it or want to deal with it because I didn't want to start drama. I didn't want to stir things up. I felt like I'll just be the bigger person. I'll swallow this. I'll get over it. It'll be fine. When in reality, I was letting that sit in my heart. And this is nothing like Langston Hughes, a raisin in the sun, like a dream deferred shrivels up, but it's kind of that same idea, right? Like a pain deferred, a pain undealt with festers. It's like a festering wound. It's like you get a cut and you don't put antibiotics on it, you don't deal with it, you don't treat it, and it festers, and over time it could infect your whole body. It could be 10 times worse than the injury was in the first place. And that's what bitterness does to us. So, all that to say, if you're struggling with bitterness today, know that it's okay. I'm finding myself literally in this position right now where I recognize that because of things that I stuffed in the past and didn't deal with, I'm now dealing with even greater effects, which is this buildup of bitterness in my heart. And I'm dealing with it in healthy ways, in other ways in my current life, like in this situation at church or situations with my coworkers. I feel like a common question maybe that would come out of this discussion would be like, okay, but when do I know when I should confront somebody, and when do I know if I should just let it roll off my back? There is a proverb that says something to the effect, and again, every Bible verse you hear me say is going to be like the Molly Phillips paraphrased version, unless I look it up in front of me. But, he who can overlook an offense spares much anger, or something to that extent. Basically saying hey, if you can get past it and get over it, great. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache and trouble by not getting in a fight with someone. Benny, I'm going to get bitter against you, for real. But I would just ask the wisdom of the Holy Spirit, and also, if you are a believer, if you have a relationship with Jesus, sometimes going to Him and expressing your hurt to Him is enough. Sometimes you don't always have to go to that person. In this case of this offense, I maybe could have just said to Jesus, hey Jesus, this really hurts. This really hurts me, and I don't feel good about this. And by acknowledging that and laying it at His feet, I'm freeing myself of it in a similar way that if I took it to that person. In this instance, I felt like it was important to take it to this person because they're a part of my church family, and I want nothing but truth in the heart of Jesus portrayed from the pulpit of my church family. And so you just need to discern and be wise about it, and also, be understanding, understanding where that person is coming from, making sure that you're also going into it with the right motive of, my mom used to teach us when we were little kids, and we got in fights, my sister and I'd say, you did this to me, you did this, and my mom would say, no, use an I statement, and it was this, stupid new age parenting thing, but it's so true, and it works. And so, instead of going to him and saying, you said this, and you're wrong, and you should say it this way, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you shouldn't be preaching on the stage, I just said, hey, this is what I heard, and this is how I felt, and I wanted to let you know, because this is how it impacted me, and I felt like I needed to tell you, and I wanted you to know that in case maybe, you could learn something from it. And so framing in that way is really important too. Whatever you do, to prevent bitterness, definitely do not go to any of your friends, your coworkers, your boss, your parent. If you have an issue that, and again, none of this is black and white, guys. There might be some deep issue that you need to talk to, your boyfriend or your spouse or your mom about. But, me going to Becky, I don't have any friends named Becky, but me going to Becky with the good hair and saying, oh, Becky, did you hear what, Jonathan said last Wednesday, blah, blah, blah? I thought that was so offensive. Did you think that was offensive? Yeah, I thought that was offensive. Bullshit. You're being a coward. Have the balls to confront that person directly. I hate confrontation, and for so long I was so scared to do that because I'm such a people pleaser. I didn't want that person I was confronting to be mad at me. I didn't want it to reflect badly on me. But there's so much freedom in that, and just cut to the chase. Don't, be a bullshitter. Just tell that person how it made you feel. And by getting it off your chest and clearing it, out of your system and your aura and your heart, it's kind of if, shit was, flying up against the windshield of your heart, right? If you don't wipe it off, it's just going to build up and build up and build up until one day you have like a poop explosion over someone. Trust me, this has happened to me before. Not literally, like in terms of a spiritual metaphor. I need some wine. But anyways, I hope that helps. I hope that you can relate. I hope that you love my crazy dog. And I will try really hard the next time I do a video to not be gross and sweaty and to have my kitchen clean. And try this rosé from Whole Foods. This video is not sponsored by Whole Foods. Although Whole Foods, if you ever want to sponsor me, I will take any kind of free money for sure. Bye guys.